I debated with myself a lot on where to start from this point, but I thought it would be best for me to go into cosplayers. I interviewed a bunch of cosplayers. Really, I just met a bunch and talked to a few. There were cosplayers right next to me all the time and during the show. So I thought I should just talk about this. We need to talk about this. And so I observed as much as I could and I asked questions as much as I could. And I got a lot of people going, why were you talking to me? What was the point of this? And some of them are starting to go, okay, yeah, your previous videos are showing this. So I hope they understand what I am doing here and what is being represented. I'm just trying to look at this from a cultural point of view. So today, all we're going to do is talk about cosplayers as an introduction, the concepts and the ideas of cosplayers. So somebody who dresses up is a super fan. And it doesn't matter if it's something geeky, if it's something nerdy, whatever it is. You truly try to represent yourself by dressing up. You go to a sports show, the guy who's dressed all in paint is, of his team's colors, and he's wearing the horns or whatever of the show, he is into it. He is more dedicated than anybody else. So this is a representation of fans who are majorly into it. But what I found is that some people may not actually care about what they dress up as. They just want to dress up, and that's going to be a couple of different things I'm going to talk about. But for the most part, the people who dress up are the mega fans for these subjects. They want to truly represent that subject. And to do this, they take in a bunch of dedication. I just actually got a comment from this actress, this cosplayer. I noticed she had goosebumps, and I was just like, wow, that is dedication. I mean, she is literally just walking from somewhere to the convention center dressed in these clothes, and I actually didn't even know what her hair color was. A lot of people are like that. I'm just like, if I were to see them in real life, I probably wouldn't recognize them because they were dressed up when I saw them, and vice versa. And I know this for a fact because it actually happened a couple times. But she had this really cool tattoo, and I was like, hey, that's a nice tattoo. Can I get a picture of your tattoo and the goosebumps? Like, that's just amazing. And she was kind of leery. She was like, why does he want a picture of goosebumps in the tattoo? Or what's going on? And, she just messaged me and said, or she just commented on a previous video and went, oh, I get it now. You were trying to show, the cultural representation here. And I was like, yeah, this is to show you, when you are a super fan, you are willing to get cold, you are willing to get hot, you are willing to deal with a lot of stress. There are people who dress up in clothing that just cover them so much that they can't quite think. There are people with suits of armor where they are standing on stilts and they were walking around and they could barely see, so they have to have other people around them to make sure that they're okay while they're walking around. Those are the giant Iron Man or the Hulk suits. So, you have to look at this dedication and you go like, okay, this truly represents somebody who's into this subject. They want to show this off, so they are showing their dedication. They are walking to the convention center and willing to be cold. They are willing to do what is needed for this to represent correctly. And then every now and then I would just catch them in casual time. And I thought that was the most interesting because quite often you see them and by the way, both of these pictures, I actually asked them, oh, no, just can I get your picture, but just continue as you were. And they're like, oh, okay, this is weird. And, it is. The guy on the left is an elven Jedi, but he's checking his phone. And the two, by the way, this is the same day, these two girls are chatting with each other, and they want to just, have a casual meeting, and they actually have to sit in a special way because their dresses are kind of foofy, and if they sit differently, they actually can't get back up, and they might show stuff. So they're they're kind of just having this nice little conversation. I was like, hey, can I get your picture? Because when they're at the show, although they are dressed up, they are actually feeling the most normal. And that sounds really weird because in our minds, dressing up means you're trying to stand out. But in this case, it is by representing what I love and being in a place that, wants me to represent what I love, I can actually be myself. So therefore, I can be at ease the most. And that does come up. That's going to come up in the next video on Friday's video on this subject. But yeah, they were having just regular casual time. They weren't constantly in character. They were trying to, just be themselves. And because of the costume, they could actually be themselves a little bit more than usual. It was quite funny. Honestly, I think the little Bo Peep wanted to dress like this outside of the convention center. I think that really was her personality. The way, just that shot of her is her real personality, and she's been trying to figure out how to represent that correctly. So this is her only chance to be herself, is at the show. And so she is actually more relaxed now than she would be if she were, dressed in normal clothing at her work or with friends. There's also something about this that we need to talk about, and that is that there is always an overrepresentation of people in costume. And that doesn't mean that they're evil or that, I hate them. It's that we show them too much. And the reason why is when people see pictures of these shows, they see the guy in the alien suit. They don't see all the people around him who are not dressed up. There are other shows, other conventions where the majority are dressed up. Sakura-con, everybody is dressed up. But that doesn't mean that everyone needs to be dressed up, or that you need to represent completely to be at the show. And that's a mistake I've seen by a lot of people who want to go to a Comic-Con. They're like, well, I have to dress up because all I see are pictures and videos of people dressed up, so I have to go and be dressed up. And I'm like, no, you don't need to. You can just come casually. And they just can't associate that, because Comic-Con is where you go to truly show that you are a fan. And that's a real thing that we have to think about, because to come to Comic-Con, you need to admit that you are a fan and you are willing to show that you are a fan. And because of that, hey Beatrice, yeah, because of that, we tend to over represent the cosplayers. That doesn't mean they're not evil. It's us who are showing this too much. When I was in sports, we would always show the highlight. We would show what's called a highlight reel. We wouldn't show the entire game. We would show the really cool scores, that awesome touchdown where the guy just barely caught the ball right before he passed the end zone, or, the thing where the person or just the home run, or the cool steal, or that cool out. We would show that, and people would think that was the entire game. That was happening all the time, but no, those were rarities, as were much of the cosplayers. They were there. They were definitely there, but they were in fact a minority at times. And at other shows, they are a majority, but you still don't have to come dressed up. And that's what I'm trying to say. So on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about cosplayers and what they're trying to connect with when they're... Oh, hi, Beatrice, again. Sorry, my phone has to be online, so to do the slides. So you're going to see that, my friends are commenting and stuff. But the connections are going to be about not just the connections are the reasons why people dress up. Well, I'll put it that way. And their thought patterns behind it. So that was what I've got. And then Friday, we're going to talk about, kind of the clans within it. And really, it's not clans, it's the showing of dedication. And it's an interesting thing. So I hope to see you the rest of this week. And hello to all the cosplayers who I've taken pictures of and were like, man, why is he doing this? I am dedicating an entire week to you. And next week, I'm probably going to go into stick theory and stuff. And you'll understand why I'm showing sticks soon enough. But this week is cosplayers because I just really wanted to talk about cosplayers more. So thank you, and see you the rest of the week.